And we're live, live from California. It's Monday, November 9th, 2020. And I'm in my studio. I just played a little clip, post my other clip at the airport in Miami. Now back in freezing. It's freezing. This is a very nice bra that I got. I didn't think I was going to start with a plug for this nudie. But it has all these different... I got it on Indiegogo. And it's very cool. This is in blue. This is my handkerchief look. Let's show whatever little cleavage I have. Okay. So, whoa. I'm back in San Francisco. I was gone in Miami, in Florida, since October 8th. And I came back from the jungle September 15th. So I came back. I saw the circles in Dolores Park. And now it seems like, now that it's flu season, it seems a little bit more normal at the gym. It seems like I think I'm going to have to wear a face mask. But I need to go and start pumping some weights. So then came back, got a second strike for just covering a defund the police, transgender, Black Lives Matter, police, whatever. Anyway, so then I went to Miami and went to this beautiful conference, met beautiful people, had beautiful opportunities, had the honor of speaking near Dr. Carrie Madej and Aaron the whistleblower, and met Cindy Falco and saw Del Bigtree twice in 2 weeks. I just feel very honored. Could have not done that if I had stayed in the jungle in my little bubble. So I sacrificed a lot because it is a bubble with lots of fresh air. No heavy zombie vibe. You can steer clear from the city and the masks and actually have community. Which brings me, it's all over the place with Mimi, Gemini Moon. But witnessing supposed spiritual people that I looked up to be so convinced that that it's okay to fight hate with supposed hate. And it's just like this one big game of get Orange Man out and betray democratic process, the Constitution. Now, I never thought that I would be a patriot or consider myself a patriot as a Canadian. That sees, it's like this big football game. And when you learn that the CDC, I bring this up often, pays its employees to watch soap operas, and you grew up watching As the World Churns and Days of Our Lives until you didn't. And you took your TV and trashed it. Trashed the hell-o-vision. And then, not only did I trash the hell-o-vision, I got betrayed by the mainstream media. It sounds like a conspiracy, doesn't it? 6 smear pieces in 2020? Who the fuck am I? It doesn't matter. You're anyone that challenges the narrative. You're that one person on the entire plane that's willing to speak out and say, I don't want to play this game anymore. Okay? And then you see that everyone else is complying. Is that waking up from the simulation like in Westworld? I don't know, but if you're with me. So while so much to say, while covering the emergency injunction against Google that has uses mind control tactics, that is a drug company invested in vaccines, that is burying natural remedies. So while writing a story about the purge on October 15th against alleged violent people that are cyberbullying bullshit, that's the conspiracy, because I know these people and I see their reports, and YouTube cannot even say in their 6 years of content, this is exactly what cyberbullying. It doesn't have to. You have violated the TOS, the terms of the service, that they change at will. You get a strike for spreading COVID-19 disinformation. How dare I tell you that this is less fatal than the flu? How dare I try? How dare I tell you that the CDC keeps on flip-flopping and that initial tests were infected and they crossed the blood-brain barrier? Why would they be infected? And has this virus been isolated? It's all a magic trick. It's all sorcery. Pharmacia, it's amazing. It's black magic. It's difficult to wrap your brain around it and believe it, that you've been lied to, that you are that robot in Westworld waking up. And now the simulation continues. And people do not want to consider that there is tangible fraud. I'm freezing right now. Oof, it's not like Florida. The plan is to pack and head to Florida before it goes cuckoo. Because consider that the media does not get to say who is president, not when the body is not even cold and the ballots are being counted. And there is tangible fuckery going on. But no, then you tell me, you don't really do the research, but you're going to tell me that there's nothing here. I'm sorry, there are a lot of lawsuits. A lot of lawsuits even having to do with the electoral procedures as a result of COVID-19. I found a page that I've shared with Jean-Claude. Jean-Claude, isn't it nice to be able to speak French? Just tons of lawsuits having to do with the election process. Do not tell me that there is no evidence. There is, at least you can admit there's a sense of fuckery here. Please, come on. You cannot be that blinded by hate. Why do you know the things that you know? It's different, if I'm reading a suit doesn't mean for sure it's that you have to have the trial. Justice, yeah. Justice, it's a pack of wolves, these lawyers. It's a game of bull fucking shit. Having, been sued by my landlord for mold toxicity. I am the one who suffers from mold toxicity and insists that we do the job right instead of half fucking assed. And then I get sued because I cost this rich man $10,000. You cheap bastard. So the irony of fighting for mold, that impaired my health for 2 years. I don't even know how I operated like fucking Superwoman on 16 minutes of REM, waking up 5 times a night. Jeez, hell, burning hell. We each have our own sense of burning hell. That's how we grow. Okay, so the irony of the law system being in a multi-building, the Superior Court downtown LA, to fight mold, and telling your lawyer that, the reason why you're having these allergies that you don't have when you're not in this building is because of the mold, hun. Oh, wow. That's how magic happens. You pass on a little information, you plant a seed, you put some compost on it. So, Kamala. It's interesting. It's like watching a soap opera. I'm watching a guy who is an expert in nonverbal communication telling us how it's political theater. It's soap opera. But nonetheless, why are you picking socialism or picking someone who is corrupt rather than anti-establishment? I want the guy who will fire Fauci, or at least hint at it till the next episode. So it's about, I guess, the principles that you stand by when you see that it's all a magic trick and people are falling for it. And can't you put yourself in the eyes of an elitist Satanist? These things that people do, like poison other humans slowly and surely and make money off of them, is evil. Using fetal baby tissue to grow live viruses is evil. Something's not right with that. Okay? Sorry, call me a conspiracy theorist. So who's behind that in a clear way? The Clinton Foundation? Who owns these voting systems? Maybe I will read part of an article that I'm trying to, with my ADHD and 4 hours of sleep, trying to digest. Really prizing myself on details, the best I know how, to understand things, and then to truly, there's so much, so many layers. So it's a little bit upsetting to see your fellow brothers and sisters hypnotized. And sometimes you have to like say those things that others won't say. Sometimes it's not nice. Like, you make, like, really? You really care about your health? Well, lose 60 pounds and take that face diaper off. What are you eating? Find a way. I'm sorry. You can find a way. Let's find a way. I will help you. So yeah, the spiritual people, JP Spears did a great bit on why did you vote for Biden after all? How a friend said, how do we communicate? It's like invasion of the body snatchers. Seriously, we feel this way. We feel this way. Maybe you feel this way about the other side, if you're on the other side. But the reasoning, the compliance, what is happening, Glastonbury having the police come into your house, my sister Andrea, this is really happening. It's so far away until it happens to you. They're going to take me off of a plane because I have a medical condition, whether it's asthma or I need oxygen. Okay, that's fine. You want to wear your mask, wear your mask. But you can't, because it's about all making the same. You're not going to give privileges. And the leaders, who are the ones? Bill Gates. Oh, I haven't seen you wear a mask, buddy. I've seen you wear many a man sweater. Many a man sweater. Many. Too many to count, Kearney. Yeah. These caricatures, these characters, these Bill Gates. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to read a little bit of the article. And this is some CBT. It's not my CBT. Shh. Don't tell me. I took theater when I was growing up. It's fun. It's fun doing characters. Could still say the truth, or just have a voice. You know, a little bit of an accent to make it a little bit funnier. Okay, yeah, maybe I can read this article. Okay, so there is validity to the fuckery going on with the elections. I'm so sorry. but let's try to stick to logic. This Corona, fuck you, Corona, was an opportunity to usher in many things. Brilliant Trojan horse. Brilliant. They've been practicing, like they've said. We keep getting better at pandemic preparedness. Are you prepared yet? Because we are. So, where was I? There is evidence and the Trojan horse of the Corona. So crazy to even share this, to be speaking about this. Mail-in voting. You were getting together just the other day. The Corona's taking a little break for your celebration. It's just so smart. It keeps on just impressing the hell out of me. Not being on the beach at a certain time. Avoiding circles in the grass. Training. Slowly. Don't want to do it too quick. They're doing it in traumatizing different areas in different degrees, running all sorts of tests. It sounds so crazy, I know. It's sinister. Don't we run little tests on animals? I'm just saying, I had that realization a couple of years ago. Who's the real animals? I mean, aliens. If you learn parasites, they can modify behavior. I've witnessed it. And there's a lot of parasites on this planet that are running things. Sound like Marge right there. Marge, homie, you know I love you. You have to stop eating those donuts. You have to lay off the gluten. You have leaky gut syndrome. The beer. You have to stop drinking the beer. But wear that face diaper. The new norm. There's a meme of its norm from Cheers with a beer and a face diaper. Oh my God. Please, this is not, it's non-illogical shit. Okay, so there's law firms that are representing 21 deceased people in Pennsylvania. A woman whose ballot was rendered useless because of bleed through from a Sharpie, supposedly, and was denied to cast another ballot. I see dead people. I see dumb people. So there's some, you take a pause. You realize that the mainstream media cannot tell you when you're still counting ballots and one person's winning and then the other day. So this is just a test. If it's theater and it's a script, you're taking an LSAT or playing an adventure game, which page do you turn to next? So I'm going to speak to someone. Sorry, I'm shivering. Okay, so there's like Dominion voting systems and they glitched, right? Well, we didn't know at first it was Dominion. There was 6,000 votes that glitched in Michigan and switched to Biden. There's all these mail-in ballots, and of course you can argue that the mail-in ballots is the Democrats exceeding the registered number of voters, but in any case, and that's why there's more mail-in. Hello, I'm filming. That has interrupted me and I got self-conscious. see if I can get my train of thought. Yeah. I didn't smoke weed for a month, and I smoked a little weed. It's okay. This is crazy times. I'm sorry, Mommy. I think it's legal in this state. Trying to fix my panel. There's nothing wrong with some grass that's organic. Okay? Especially, I don't drink. I am sorry, I'm opinionated about that. And I'm sure you could be opinionated about grass, like my mom. Okay, where was I? So there's tangible cases to merit looking further and using the coronavirus to really justify mail-in voting. But it's okay to celebrate because Corona is going to take a break, but you couldn't go and vote in person just a few days before. It makes perfect sense. Yes, I'll go with that. In the course of these, so many thoughts at once, at the course of this past month and a half, to have experienced two people, one, my uncle who died, who was fine until he took the PCR test. And then it's a snowball, especially if you're 80 and you are suffering from comorbidities, which, take a look around, is everybody. Especially in this toxic world. So that's why I'm going to prize my temple no matter what and do what it takes, because I'm not going to let them get the better of me. Even for that alone, I'm going to be a master as much as I can. Fuck you. Take your poisons and shove them into your veins and let us see what it does. You are hypnotizing an entire planet by fear to get injected to make money. You're using humans as pawns, getting them sick, doing trials that don't include people with comorbidities, which is who these days. Okay, went on a little. So you have all your mail-in voting. All sorts, dead people, cats, duplicates, burning at ballots, paying Somalians, because Muslims' lives is now Black Lives Matter. Your matter is their matter. Their matter is your matter. Just all kinds of beliefs fueled by fear. Anyway, and fucking the ballots, it's not a secure way. So I hope that the conservatives that knew about this, because we all knew about this, have something. And that maybe Barrett Cohen was put in there conveniently, hopefully, to stop. What will Clarence Thomas do? Still looking into these roles, these plays. And what if you intuitively know something's off? And I've heard this. I'm waiting for another shoe to drop, not realizing that the other shoe to drop is the fact that the Constitution is not being adhered to. So, and there's corruption going on, so that's going to stall things. It's scenario 1 in the Transition Integrity Project. Tip, look it up. It's a simulation like Event 201. Seemingly they just put this all out. It's a disclaimer. Some people are putting their necks out there to put the dots together, and it sounds crazy because it is so crazy. This is crazy. Having to wear a face diaper outside, which I refuse to do and won't. It's easier in Miami for me, the heat. I love it. My hair loves it. My skin loves it. I love not being Anyway, so there's a report, and there's Dominion voting systems, and they're the ones who glitched, and they've been caught in other fraud, and they have nefarious connections. And I was reading about it. Sarah Westall put a, because I started creating a, that's the thing, there's so many details. So many details. Details matter. Damn it. Details matter. That's my t-shirt. So I had this election, and I put in calls to the firms and put in links on thread apps. So I'll read a little. Excuse me. So Dominion Voting Systems is tied to George Soros. And maybe you've heard of this cat who has a lot of holdings and a lot of power. It's been used in multiple states, Dominion Voting Systems. The co-founder is a Greek out of Toronto. They have an office in Colorado. Details matter. And there's Chinese parts. In December 2019, Dominion Voting Systems came under scrutiny for its suspicious operations and hidden ownership. The source of the nation's voting machines has become an urgent issue because of real fears that hackers, whether foreign or domestic, might tamper with the mechanics of the voting system. That has led to calls for ES&S and its competitors, Denver-based Dominion Voting Systems and Austin, Texas-based Hart Intercivic, to reveal details about their ownership and the origins of the parts, some of which came from China, that make up their machines. Hello. Hello. I know it's all over the place. It's a roller coaster. Roller coaster. Alrighty. So I'm talking about Dominion voting parts. In January, U.S. lawmakers expressed concern about foreign involvement through these companies' creations and oversight of U.S. election equipment. Top executives from the three major companies were grilled by both Democratic and Republican members of the U.S. House Committee on House Administration about the integrity of their systems. CEO of Dominion Voting System revealed that they rely heavily on Chinese parts because there is no alternative. I do think that Trump has spoken about bringing jobs back. Why are we getting our meds? Why are you taking meds from China? Do you know how many were in low supply during the beginnings of the pandemic? What if there are other deaths? You know, all these other deaths, they're all COVID-19 by default. Suicide. Others. Loneliness. Despair. Not any practice to ground you and disconnect you from your magical capabilities. Meanwhile, fuck with voting machines. Stop the vote. Make up the numbers. Flood the system with their bullshit ballots. Who would know? Who does know? Here and there. We're trying to tell you. But you hate him so much. You hate this one man. When, yeah, I could see, because I used to see it from that vantage point. He's a dictator. I used to listen to Bill Maher. It's the greatest character ever cast. So polarizing. But then at one point you're like, well, what does this character stand for? And who are the people standing by him? Are they Satanists? Oh. Do they realize what's really happening with fetal tissues? I didn't at first. I've had 2 abortions. I'm glad I had the choice. I wouldn't have wanted to be a mother at that time, and it wouldn't have been the right time. Was it a good experience? No. I wrote about it. Probably no other article like that. The editor thought it was going to be that typical whatever article. And I really took the person through the process in a very clinical way. But it's not clinical. It's a horrible process. But I'm not down with selling baby parts and then making vaccines with them and then sticking them back into babies. I don't know. Call me crazy. Call me wacky for that. Okay, let's continue a little bit more. For my own self, it also helps to read. So John Bolos and Heart Intercivic President Julie Mathis said their companies use Chinese-made LCD screen components. Okay, we've made this point, chip capacitors and resistors. The Dominion voting systems is tied to the boom, boom, boom Clinton Global Initiative. Nothing to see here. It's okay that they've gotten money for foreskin cream. Why belabor the point, Maryam? This is cistus, a little shrub that also grows in Greece. I suppose it's good for the heart. I've been drawn to it. The couple I met from Young Living. So I feel like I needed to meet the right people to introduce me to oils because many people have tried. And I found out that, doTERRA started from Young Living and that they don't have their own farms. I mean, this is pretty. And you smell good. So it's Clinton's through the Delian project. According to the Clinton Foundation website, in 2014, Dominion Voting committed to providing emerging and post-conflict democracies with access to voting technology through the philanthropic. Hold on. I'm gonna bring it here. It's all about the angles. Is it? Tonight is. Okay. It's nice to have a little studio. Hopefully soon I'll have a studio in Florida. It can be hot in more ways than one. Okay. Okay, so in 2015, Dominion Systems donated 25 to 50,000 to the Clinton Foundation. There are also allegations that Dominion Voting Systems was involved in some sort of voter fraud because they had worked with persons connected to high-ranking Democrats, such as House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. Is Nancy Pelosi's aide a DC lobbyist? In the aftermath of the 2016 elections, intensified scrutiny was focused on America's voting systems in general and Dominion voting systems in particular. So, Dominion Voting System hired lobbyists to assist with the company's interactions with the U.S. Congress. They hired Nadeem El-Shahami, Nancy Pelosi's former chief of staff, as one of these lobbyists, as reported by Bloomberg. Dominion Voting Systems, which commands more than a third of the voting machine market without having Washington lobbyists, has hired its first, a high-powered firm that includes a longtime aide to Speaker Nancy Pelosi. Smartomatic. So some people were saying it's Smartomatic, and then I found an article days ago at 2 a.m. or so, linking Dominion as contracted with Smartomatic, which links Soros with this company. Dominion got in trouble with several subsidiaries it used over alleged cases of fraud. One subsidiary is Smartomatic, a company that has, quote, played a significant role in the U.S. market over the last decade. Litigation over Smartmatic glitches alleges they impacted the 2010 and 2013 midterm elections in the Philippines, raising questions of cheating and fraud. An independent review of the source codes used in the machines found multiple problems, which included the software inventory provided by Smartmatic is inadequate. Does that sound familiar? Maybe it doesn't to you, but it does to me. Found an article. Glitching in Georgia. Glitching in Georgia. So, there was an update that needed. There was a glitch. And there was a little squabble between people who stand for voter integrity and the government, saying that it was too soon to do an update because it might mess up the process. And then apparently there was an update that, I'm like, really happened the day before the elections. Yeah. Just like the glitches in Michigan. Why was this company used in all the swing cities? Just sharing the information that I'm finding, putting it together. It's a lot of stuff that acts to keep track of. I'm sure there's others that can do a better job. But Dominion got into trouble with several subsidiaries it used over alleged cases of fraud. One subsidiary, Smartmatic, this played a significant role, blah, blah, blah. Litigation over smart glitches alleges they impacted 2010, Philippines. Blah, blah. Now we get into Lord Mark Malloch Brown. Malloch, it sounds like a incantation, not a very positive, more of a dark one. Smartmatic's chairman is a member of the British House of Lords. Mark Malloch Brown, a former vice chairman of George Soros' investment funds, former vice president of the World Bank, lead international partner at Sawyer Miller, a political consulting firm, and former vice chair of the World Economic Forum. Oh my God. Oh my God, Lord Mark Malloch. I could see how you got your name. Whoa. Who remains deeply involved in international affairs, really. The company's reported globalist ties have caused members of the media and government officials to raise questions and eyebrows about its involvement in the US electoral process. Oh my God, can you make this up? Crown agent de la Rue. In June 2010, Dominion acquired Sequoia voting systems from Smartmatic after a major election fraud controversy in Venezuela. Venezuela? I've spoken to a couple of Venezuelans. They see some similarities between what's happening in their mother country and here. Following the 2004 Venezuelan recall election, Smartmatic acquired Sequoia voting systems from the British company De La Rue. That means from the street. In 2005, De La Rue was the official crown agent of the British Empire, who still prints banknotes for the Bank of England. Crown agents ran the day-to-day affairs of the empire. De La Rue is banned and blacklisted in India for supplying substandard paper for printing Indian currency notes, and also for its involvement in the fake Indian currency notes, with Pakistan posing a threat to India. Documents in possession of Great Game India also revealed an insidious conspiracy by these companies to smuggle biometric and demographic data of Indians collected during a pilot project initiated under National Population Register to Taiwan. Data is more precious than oil. It is you, it is me, it is everything. It is mind control. They will chip you. All those sci-fi movies. The future is here. The zombies are now. Yeah. That's the line that came to me several years ago. But now it's reached the new heights. Okay, so the acquisition by Smartmatic of Sequoia voting systems from De La Rue triggered a controversy in America for its possible ties to the Venezuelan government. The Committee on Foreign Investment in the United States of the U.S. Treasury Department, which had been investigating whether there were any ties between Sequoia, Smartmatic, and the government of Venezuela, dropped the investigation when Smartmatic agreed to divest Sequoia in a deal whereby all of Sequoia's shares were sold off to CFS Holdings for an undisclosed price. The Wall Street Journal wrote that, quote, Smartmatic scrapped a single corporate structure, quote, end quote, of being based in Boca Raton for a far more complex arrangement of being located in multiple locations following the Sequoia incident. Both Smartmatic and Sequoia are mirrored with electoral-related controversies in many countries. Smartmatic being tied to Soros. What really happened in the 2020 US election will only be revealed after a thorough investigation is launched into the companies and these so-called glitches. How can you deny this? Is this not logical, rational, concrete? Is this not point to something is fishy, at the very least? Do you know who is being silenced? Which side is being silenced? How do you know if we are the silenced majority? Because we stand for God, and we're not going to be led by fear, and I don't want mandated mass, so if I'm going to pick a team and it's all theater, I'm going to still choose the right side. This is about saving a republic. This is about being awake enough to stand and say, no, not here. I'm not going to stand for this rhetoric. And then I was unfriended by a friend that I care about and wish only the best. Someone I love. And it's sad to not be able to communicate. To get so triggered that you can't or refuse or will be too weak to face it or just decide you don't want to, fine. But why? Why don't you want to understand the other side? I want to understand the other side. How did you get here? Why are you voting for Joey Biden? Do you want mandated masks? Do you want build back better? Oh yeah, I was going to share this. Shit. The great leap that happened in China was akin to the Great Reset. Deaths. It's a lot of shit. I can only imagine how much alcohol sales have gone up. I just ask you, the other side, don't say there's nothing to it without looking. You cannot be fueled by that much hate and inability to reason. I'm not. the show ain't over until the fat lady sings. And it's not over. So you might be celebrating, but this might be to really piss you off. Enjoy the holidays. As I say it, I realize it's true. There's no accident. There's going to be a little bit of a lull, quiet. I mean, there'll be rumblings. There'll be protests. Stop the steal. There'll be celebrations. Both sides. Then we have to start off with a bang for 2021. The darkest winter, the greatest fall. The greatest fall. This is where I bust out in a song, but I'm not a singer. I'm a wannabe singer. All right, well, happy Monday. So more to come, I'm sure, more to come. Yeah, I just stopped oh, is it the end of this report? That's good. I didn't stop prematurely. Just keep going. Yeah, point is, there's still glitches. Consider, look at details. Details matter, details matter, details matter. How many fingers are you holding, Winston? Over and out. It's 4, fucker.